Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my backyard. Today is May 29th. This is my weekly shop update. So, got myself yet another log. This one is a sugar maple, and I'm actually really excited about this one because the sugar maple tree has been tapped over the years for syrup, or I guess for sap that would be turned into syrup, and there are still some holes from the taps that are still visible in here. So I'm actually really excited to be able to open this up and show you the patterns that are kind of a result of the continual tapping over the years, because it does produce a visually distinct pattern in the wood itself from all of these essentially wounds throughout the years. So I got this log from a friend and took JR out yesterday for Memorial Day. Did a little outing, picked up a log just like back in the days, back when I picked up all of the big logs you saw me cut on the sawmill last year. I went out and picked up all of those when JR was like 9 or 10 months old. I had him in the car seat the whole time. So it was kind of fun to be able to go out and do one of these things, another pick, just like I used to with him, except now he actually kind of knows what's going on, and I can start teaching him some things like, safe distances and things like that. So I take this thing offloaded off the trailer because I do need the trailer again. I'm gonna throw this thing in the pile with the walnut logs. If I had the mill running, I would just throw it on the mill and cut it right now, but I still have to finish putting the thing back together. So I'm kind of going back to storage mode a little bit. So I am going to seal up anything that's accessible at this point, because once this thing comes off the trailer, I'm not really sure how it's going to land. So anything that's accessible now, it's easier just to get that taken care of now than waiting, I guess. So before I start sealing this up, I do want to point out how this log is already checking. These were cuts that I made yesterday. This was made about a month ago, but these were made yesterday. Under 24 hours ago, you can see that it's already starting to check. So I do like to seal these things up as soon as possible. Unfortunately, yesterday when I got home, it was like a thunderstorm as soon as I pulled in, so I didn't have a chance to seal these things up. But I know I had that question on the walnut logs video, is are they really gonna check just sitting on a trailer overnight? And yeah, they'll start checking as soon as they start drying. Especially now, because it's been in the 90s here, which is absolutely ridiculous, since we only had like a few days in the 70s, and it just went straight up to 90s. So this log was probably about 12 or 13 feet long, which was hanging way off the back end of my trailer, and with its kind of goofy shape, it had it like pointing down to the ground. So this section here actually got cut off of here to save a little bit of space. And I figure I can turn this into a couple of bowls for them, just like I will with those walnut offcuts.
I see the bucket on my elbow.
Uh-oh. You guys going swimming again? What a life, huh? So I'm going to see what I can do at the very least to get this thing stacked a little bit on top of the walnut logs, just to save space. I don't have a whole lot of room back here, and I don't want to turn this into a giant log yard like it was when I was building the bandsaw. Just logs everywhere and no room to work. So I should be able to yank this thing off the trailer a little bit, use the arch to pick up the back end, and then back the trailer up and set the log down partially on top of the walnut logs, and that should at least save me some space. Well, that wasn't exactly where I wanted it, but at least it's more out of the way than laying in front of the other ones. So now with this end much more accessible, I can get this thing cleaned up and sealed up. So I'll trim this back to remove the remnants of the hinge and clean up some of the checkings already here, since this has been sitting out for about a month already. And get some anchor seal on it, and it should be good to sit here for, I don't know, however long until I get it cut. So the collection is growing once again. I'm pretty excited because I just like being out here. Now it's not freezing out and getting a little exercise, and I'm looking forward to slicing these things up Got some big stuff, we got some little stuff, we got some goofy stuff. Should be fun to get the sawmill running again and get some more stuff cut. Speaking of the sawmill, I spent a good amount of time last week working on the plans for that, so those are just about almost done. Looking forward to having that giant project behind me as well. Woo! So, getting kind of hot. I'm not kind of hot, I'm really hot. Let's head into the shop and see what's going on in there and maybe cool off a little bit. So back in the shop, I was working on the Waterfall Table cabinet a little more. I did get the base pieces on here with the leveling feet. I also have casters on there as well, so that when you want to move this thing around for the reason, you can take it off the leveling feet, drop it on the casters, wheel it around to wherever, and then you can use the leveling feet to get it up to the right level for the table saw. The other thing I did was get going on the drawer construction, so I have all of the joinery cut for all of the drawer pieces, and these are just really simple rabbited drawer components. So the front and back have a rabbet on 3 sides, and then the side pieces have the rabbet on just 1 side. And that allows you to put the whole thing together like that, and then you have this nice rabbited area right here where the drawer bottom can just drop right into. See if I can do this without just falling apart. Sort of. The whole thing nests together and the drawer bottom gets glued in there as well, so you get a lot of structure and a lot of structural integrity, because that drawer bottom provides a lot of the strength of the whole drawer. And if you're doing some, I don't know, some kind of fancier things using this method, you could always reinforce this joint with some kind of dowels or something like that. But all of the drawers in my shop for all of the shop cabinets are all constructed this way, and they've all held up really well over the years. So this thing should be, I don't know, should be pretty much done next week. Finally, another thing off the list, and I'll have some more storage space in the shop finally. So I think that's all that's going on with me this week. Let's take a look at some viewer projects. First this week is a lift top coffee table by Luke. The table is made from poplar and walnut, and the drawer pulls are spalted poplar. This was Luke's first from scratch build from design to finish. The customer that he built this for wanted a square coffee table with contrasting woods, but wanted to keep the cost down, so that's why he chose poplar for the primary wood. Next is the cookie coffee table with aluminum fill by Blaise. Blaise cut this cookie from a tree that he felled, and the cookie had a crack in it, so instead of using an epoxy fill with some bow ties, he cut a bow tie shaped pocket around the crack and filled the whole thing with molten aluminum. Blaise has a video over on his YouTube channel that shows how he made this table, so check that out. Next is the Waterfall Table by Bob. The table is made from 4-quarter black walnut, and the splines and butterfly inlays are made from red oak burl offcuts. It's finished with 1 coat of poly and then a coat of finishing wax. Last this week is a tea chest by Alex. This little tea chest is made from Tasmanian blackwood, macrocarpa, and Huon pine. Alex has a great video over on his YouTube channel that shows how he made this tea chest, so definitely check that out. So I'm also getting some of the last remaining parts prepped, ready for paint, and ready to go back onto the sawmill. So that's coming along as well. So, making progress on all fronts, I guess. So, that's all I have for this week. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about anything talked about today, or anything here in my shop, please feel free to leave me a comment, so I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Until next time, happy woodworking.